My name is Muhammad Relmi Barifin. I'm Bachelor in Environmental Technology from Faculty of Applied Science. I'm supervised by Dr. Rusdin Belaiman. Present my final year project, which titled Air Quality on Different Level in the Underground Parking Lot. Air pollution in Malaysia has been increased for more than 50 years that now is affecting the human health, either physically or mentally. Due to development in 21st century, there are many substances that has been produced by humans, such as the emittents of factories and industries. The increasing number of vehicles also increase the use of the fossil fuel, which increase the air pollution. Shah Alam urban area have many malls, hotels, private residential buildings, which have the underground parking lot. The objective and aims for this final year project are to determine the concentration of carbon monoxide and TBOC on different levels, which are B3 and B1 level in the morning and evening for weekdays and weekends. Secondly, to investigate the temperature and relative humidity of the underground parking lot on different levels, which are for B3 level and B1 level in the morning and evening for weekdays and weekends. The air ventilation system was installed away from the intake vents to deliver the fresh air and eliminate the air pollutants. The effect of the indoor air quality on the youngsters and the elderly are much higher than the effect of outdoor air quality. The indoor air contaminants have the potential to cause impairment, sickness and death on the individual that being exposed to it. Specify the sampling instrument to determine and follow the objective of this final year project. Secondly, determine by do some surveying on the sampling location and fix the date to do some sampling, which are 2 days for the weekdays and 2 days for the weekend. The data collection has been done by do some sampling on B3 and B1 level in the morning and the evening for weekdays and weekend. Using the relevant tools such as Microsoft Excel to analyze the data and then interpret the result, and finally conclude the result based on the objective. Greywood Sensing Solution has been chosen to do data collection for this final year project. For the data analysis, Microsoft Excel has been used to do descriptive analysis to interpret mean, minimum value, maximum value, and standard deviation value. Secondly, to do some correlation for carbon monoxide and TBOC. And finally, do some pair 1-tailed t-test to accept or reject the null hypothesis. Figure 5 shows the concentration of TBOC and CO in the morning of weekdays. Meanwhile, Figure 9 shows the concentration of TBOC and CO in the morning on the weekdays. By comparing these two graphs, it shows that the mean for Figure 5 is 6.42 ppm, meanwhile the mean for the Figure 9 is 1.35 ppm. The maximum value of CO measured is 6.9 ppm, meanwhile for Figure 9 is 1.7 ppm. It shows that the concentration of CO on B2 level in the morning in the weekdays are much higher than the concentration of CO in the morning of the weekend. Figure 6 and 10 show the concentration of CO and TBOC in the morning on B1 level, which for morning in weekdays, meanwhile Figure 10 show morning for the weekend. This shows that max value that being recorded in weekdays is 3.3 ppm, meanwhile for weekend it is 1.9 ppm. For the mean value for the weekdays is 1.82 ppm, meanwhile for the weekend it's just 1.35 ppm. It shows that the concentration for the weekdays in the morning is much higher than the concentration of CO and TVOC in the morning for the weekend. Figure 7 and Figure 11 show the concentration of CO and TVOC in the evening on B3 level, which Figure 7 show the concentration of CO and TVOC for weekdays and Figure 11 for the weekend. Based on the result, it shows that the highest amount of CO that being recorded is 4 ppm for the weekday. Meanwhile, for Figure 11, which for the weekend, the highest is 2.8 ppm. The mean between two is 3.8 ppm for the weekdays and 2.25 ppm for the weekend. It shows that the concentration on B3 level in the evening for weekdays is much higher than the concentration of B3 level in the evening for the weekend. Figure 8 and Figure 10 show the concentration of TVOC and CO that being recorded on B1 level, which Figure 8 for weekdays and Figure 12 for the weekend. Based on the result, it shows that the highest concentration of CO that being recorded on B1 level in the weekdays is 4.2 ppm. Meanwhile, the highest concentration of CO that being recorded on the weekend is 2.4 ppm. The mean for the weekdays is 3.25 ppm. Meanwhile, the mean for the weekend is 2.03 ppm. It shows that the concentration of CO is higher on B1 level in the evening for the weekdays than in the weekend on B3 level in the morning, which for Figure 13 it shows for the weekdays and the Figure 17 it shows for the weekend. Based on this graph, it shows that the highest temperature that being recorded on B3 level in the weekdays is 33 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the highest temperature that being recorded on the weekend is 32.9 degrees Celsius. The highest relative humidity that being recorded on the weekdays is 56.6%. The highest relative humidity that being recorded on B3 level in the weekdays is 56.6%. Meanwhile, the highest relative humidity that being recorded on B3 level in the weekend is 63.5%. It shows that B3 level in the weekend is much cooler than B3 level in the morning for the weekdays. The mean for temperature and relative humidity in weekdays is 32.56 degrees Celsius and for relative humidity is 55.96%. For the weekend, the mean for temperature is 32.29 degrees Celsius and for relative humidity it's 62.56%. Figure 14 is for the weekdays and the Figure 18 is for the weekend. The highest temperature that being recorded on weekdays is 33.4 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the highest temperature that being recorded on the weekend is 32.3 degrees Celsius. The highest relative humidity that being recorded in weekdays is 55.2%. Meanwhile, the weekend is 62.8%. The mean for temperature and relative humidity for the weekdays is 33.25 degrees Celsius and 53.85%. Meanwhile, for the weekdays is 32.16 degrees Celsius and 62.44%. B1 level in the morning for the weekend is much cooler than B1 level on the morning for the weekdays. Level in the evening, which Figure 15 show for the weekdays and the Figure 19 is for the weekend. Based on this graph, it shows that the max temperature that being recorded in the weekdays is 32.2 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, for the weekend, it is 31.9 degrees Celsius. The max level of relative humidity that being recorded in weekdays is 58.8%. Meanwhile, the highest relative humidity that being recorded in the weekend is 64.6%. It means that the evening in the weekend is much cooler then evening on the weekdays. B1 level in the evening. Figure 16 for the weekdays and the figure 20 is for the weekend. The max value of temperature that we recorded in weekdays is 32.6 degrees Celsius, meanwhile for the weekend is 32.4 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the relative humidity is 56.8%, meanwhile the highest relative humidity that being recorded on the weekend is 65.7%. It means that in the evening of B1 level is much cooler in the weekend than the weekdays. For the conclusion, the concentration of CO was higher in B3 and B1 level in the morning and evening for both levels for weekday and weekend. Secondly, the temperature and relative humidity in the morning are higher than the evening for weekdays and the weekend. The TVOC cannot be read because the technical error on the instrument.